All right, we're going now. But yeah, I mean, like, we did, fuck, the in East Timor they gave us, started giving us those malaria pills,
Yeah.
and one of the side effects is nightmares, and so like you could walk
What do you
around
call it?
and see all the
Nightmare.
guys that had deployed to a combat zone like fucking screaming and shit, like
Oh,
Oh
and then
man.
uh,
all the little booters are like too scared to
Yeah.
wake anybody up, like like no, you can sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wake up and get choked out or something.
Oh yeah.
dude,
Um,
man, that shit was so real though. Those
yeah.
dreams are so fucking real,
It
man.
was.
I don't know, it was crazy.
I
You
don't
know?
have I don't have nightmares, man. I'm lucky. I don't know what's wrong with me, or if there is something wrong with me, maybe I'm blessed. But I have dreams where like some shit's going down, but in my dream I'm kind of detached. Like, okay, how the fuck am I gonna fucking get through this fucking situation? Those are my dreams. I don't. It doesn't like the fear part doesn't come in. It's
Yeah.
so I'm lucky like that. I hear guys tell stories. I'm like, dang. Fucking, I guess maybe I'm a sociopath, man.
Or maybe you just cope with a really fucked up situation in a healthy way, and that's why you don't have nightmares, possibly.
I talk about stuff, man, and I never fucked up like and accidentally smoked a bunch of people. I mean, I mean, shit happens, but I never did anything that fucking I would feel regret for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think I carried that up. That's what helps. I had a fucked up sense of or code. It's not really fucked up, but even as a kid, like as long as I walked in like these set parameters that my own integrity said was cool, then whatever happened, whether I got in trouble or whatever, I didn't have to feel bad because I'm like, at least I was doing what I wanted to do the way I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
Which was like I would justify getting in fights and beating the shit out of people, but I could never steal because that's a douchebaggery.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, you had a code of honor, yeah.
yeah, kind of like grew up. Maybe I watched too many fucking movies with Clint Eastwood and John Wayne and Schwarzenegger. Too much Rambo growing up. So I was all about. I've always been all about fucking America since I was a kid.
Yes.
Is that what got you? What made you enlist?
Yeah. Well, I probably was like the typical dude. Like a lot of guys in the military, you come from like broken families, so maybe I didn't have a father figure too much. So my role models might have been those TV heroes or things like that.
Yes. Yeah.
Like
My
fucking
guy. My
18.
guy.
So I fucking I have a great relationship with my parents, both of them though, and I'd spend the summers with my dad, and he was he's a medical doctor, a surgeon, and he's also spent time in the Air Force. So at this time, when I was a kid, I don't know, it was about 10 or something, maybe younger. He was stationed down in San Antonio at Lackland, and so he was at the hospital down there. And I would ride my bike with him in the mornings. He's like a fitness nut, so it'd be like 4 a.m. man or 5, and I'd be riding my little BMX, and he'd be running. We'd run around the base, and there's some Marines there because they got the K9 unit down there in Lackland, and so they'd be PTing, all motivated, man, like because they're in K9 school, so they got the high and stupid haircut, and they're the green silkies, but like a fucking the red t-shirts for the K9 school or whatever, and they're like, hiya! And I'm older than you guys, man. It's like 85 or something,
Mm.
1985 or some shit. And I was like, oh, those guys, they are all fucking
Those
jacked,
two years before
I've
me.
been riding my bike around the Air Force Base with my dad looking at fucking pencil necks, and fucking Jack Marines come by. I'm like, oh, those motherfuckers look tough. And then I started reading books about the Marine Corps, and I'd read books about Navy SEALs and Army LERPs and stuff like that. And those guys I found pretty impressive, or Green Berets in Vietnam, but Vietnam stories, and I just always wanted to be a Marine. And then I read a book called First Recon Second to None by a Vietnam vet named Paul Young, and I was like, I want to fucking be a recon Marine. And so between that decision as a kid and actually getting there, I put a bunch of bullshit in my way. There's a story in there too, but in the end, I was able to fucking work through it and make it happen. So I think part of my resiliency, as far as not having nightmares and stuff, is the fact that like I said, like that was my dream to be a recon Marine in combat, and I did it. So you could take my hands, and taking the job was worse than taking my hands, but you can do that. But I was already fucking there. You know what I mean? I already lived it. I mean, it's sort of bittersweet. And so, and I always tried to know what I was getting into. I didn't shy away from thinking about death or getting killed or any of that shit. You know what I mean? And so when you kind of preemptively give yourself a little bit of resiliency by looking at it and observing it, and then after the fact by talking about it with my buddies and shit, or tell the story. You got something to say about something fucked up, let it out.
So your first deployment was the invasion, right?
Yeah, well, I did a UDP first to Oki, and that was in 2001, and that was a lot of fun. That was a boot, back then. There was no hazing, but all of us boots had to shave our heads for the whole fucking deployment,
Yeah.
And I was with 3rd LAR. I was with 0311, so I was a scout with 3rd LAR Bravo Company, 1st Platoon, and we were on a 6-month UDP to Oki. It was a lot of fun, and 7 of us went down to Darwin before they had a Marine contingent there. This is 2001. And we flew in a C-130 from Oki, from Kadena, 8.5 hours down to Darwin, offloaded, and we're kicking it at Larrakia Barracks for 3 weeks there in Darwin, Australia, in the Northern Territory. And we trained with the North Force guys there. We did some patrols of some air bases up there, like looking for smugglers and shit. And we did a survival course with the Aborigines. And right when we were fucking starting the prac up of the survival course, they were like, "Oi, get all the Yanks!" It was like 4 a.m. and shit. We were already up because we were sleeping in the goddamn dirt, and these fucking big ants with green backsides on them would bite the goddamn bejesus out of you. They lived in the trees and the leaves.
You're lucky it wasn't poisonous. It's Australia, for the love of God.
No, and I joke around with my buddies who were with me, because we were by a little river, and you could hear the fucking saltwater crocs sliding into the water. One of those Marines was in between me and the river, and another one on the other side. So I was flanked by crocodile bait, so I could hop the fuck up. I got you, man.
Is this before Steve Irwin was killed? This is like this.
Yeah. This was 01. That was a lot of fun, but I was there when 9/11 happened. So they're like, "Oh, get all the Yanks," and they're like, "Oh, is this part of the fucking prac app? America's been attacked." We're like, "Is this for real? Is this part of the fucking training?"
Is this notional or is this fucking real life?
Because them Aussies have the jokes. I tell you what.
Yeah. No, it was real. So then we went back to Oki, and we back at 29 Palms after that UDP. We did about a year-long workup before the invasion in 2003. So I was there with 3rd LAR Bravo Company 1st Platoon for the invasion in 03. And so I took part in that march up and all that until we rotated back over to the U.S. in June. Now, we might have came back as early as late May. I can't remember, but it was kind of a quick turnaround. But we had some doozies. We had a big old ambush on the 23rd of March on the 1-8 Northern. That one was a lot of fun.
Which town was that by?
It was not by any town I can think of. It was south of Diwania, I'm sure. It was so we just crossed the Tigris that day, and the rest of the Marine forces were that was the limit of advance at the Tigris, but they punched us up, 3rd LAR, the whole fucking battalion, and we had Cobras and other air support rotating and coming, and we went in a column formation north for a while. I forget the name of that route. It turns into a dirt road, and at one point we were bombing down it like this shit. You're like, oh my god, we're gonna get smashed by 7-ton, you know. And yeah, we'd been passing. This is before we'd fired any shots in the war, so we kind of all were boots. There might have been a couple Gulf War guys, you know, 91 guys.
Yeah.
We had Gunnar Galinas. That salty motherfucker was in Vietnam. But, you know, like other than that, you know, he's worth like 40 Marines or something.
So were the Gulf guys like, oh, this shit's gonna be over in like a couple days?
No, they didn't say that.
You guys think it was gonna be such a freaking battle?
We didn't know it was gonna be still going on. Like, honestly, man, after we took out Baghdad and everybody and dismantled all of their military and infrastructure, like, but basically when we conquered the entire country, I thought that was it. You know, like, what about? I'm not putting any thought into after the fact. You know, the rebuilding their infrastructure, none of that. I'm just fucking 0311, man. I was a corporal, so you know, I had my section of scouts, and that was my world.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody thought about the insurgency that would be born and fucking, you know, all the shit posts that would happen, and you know.
Yeah.
Because
organization.
In our world, you go in, you blow some shit up, and you fucking once you raise that flag, you're fucking back on the plane home. You know?
Yeah.
But 17 years later,
you know, in 03, because I mean, literally, he's like, bam, we're done, we're outro, and we went back, and then that wasn't the case. So for me. The second deployment, I saw a whole different war. I mean, two different they're totally different. You know what I mean? And the second one, which now we all know, far more dangerous. And you could, you know, as soon as I got to Iraq, I'm like, it's fucked up now. Like, this is no bueno, you know, because before it was a little simpler. You had uniformed guys, but it was kind of, and even when you didn't have uniformed enemy combatants, they were still kind of put together like enemy forces, so you could kind of tell, you know what I mean? And immediately in 04, when I went back and we went to Fallujah, then it was like, okay, this is a different fucking war.
And that was Fallujah was like the hotbed at that time, wasn't it? It was like
it was going down, yeah.
Because this is prior to even Fallujah 1, right? So Fallujah was building up at that time. They were fortifying and fucking.
So when we showed up, we relieved the 82nd Airborne was there and some other Army units, and I don't know who else, but they had a big counter battery contingent and stuff. And I remember they gave us a brief and they were telling us, don't go here, don't go there at this time or that time. And of course, what the fuck do you think the first thing we did is just roll right through the middle of downtown Fallujah in the middle of the day, like, what up, we're here, you know? And of course, they were just kind of like, what? You know, out of the blue. So they had nothing set up and ready for us, which I'm sure if we kept that up, they would have fixed us up.
Yeah, you get away with it the first time. The second time, it's not. I remember that was Caldwell. I'm not sure if you were there, but at least my platoon when we got there, that was my first, you know, combat patrol. Was in the back of a 7-ton going through the heart of Fallujah.
Yeah,
we went from TQ to Camp Bahria, and which is right next to Camp Fallujah. And
disgruntled, but did you have we had disgruntled Marines that were yelling shit at the Iraqis? I want to fuck you. Oh,
yeah. Well, you could clearly tell the guys that had been there before and the guys that were on their first time.
And I'm like, where's the sniper? You know, in the back of the 7-10. Like, come on.
I remember watching
nothing. After you've been there for a while, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, all right.
A bunch of the boots were like standing up, taking pictures and stuff out of the 7 tons, and like the senior guys are like, "Do you know where the fuck you are?" And we're like, "Yeah, we're in Fallujah." They're like, "Yeah, you might want to stay behind the armor." Like they're just waiting to get a fucking clear sight picture on you.
Yeah, every once in a while they had a good shooter out there that would be tagging fools,
Yeah.
Yeah, we had I think when we were there was like I think he was Syrian. He was a sniper, and they would.
Was that Cuba sniper dude?
I don't know.
Got famous. I don't know if the videos are real, but there's Marines getting killed by snipers.
Yeah, his trademark was he was shooting guys in between the Kevlar and the fucking chin or the neck pro. So he would shoot the gunners like here. And then I remember hearing about our intel guys and stuff going out and setting up like little cameras to try to find where he was hiding, and he would shoot the cameras out.
Oh, he was good.
Yeah. He was fucking good. And
those were contract.
Did you guys end up? Did you end up getting them? Who ended up getting that?
I don't know. The last I heard was that I believe he was the guy that shot somebody in our camp. Not me and Joey's camp, but our battalion camp. He shot him in the armpit, so in between the flak. And I think that's when the
Alpha Raiders actually got that guy, or they got somebody next to OP Green. They were like, there's 3 people, a team of 3 people that we were on QRF waiting to go into our firefight, and then they're like, no, Alpha Company's there. They're fucking them up basically, and so we're watching on the G-Boss like.
Well, I think that was about the same time that we started noticing a lot of special forces coming into our area. Green Berets. We were doing insertions for Green Berets, and I think there was
nothing super cool. Nothing, in my opinion, nothing super. Nothing. I signed up to go to Afghanistan and crap, but it was all right. It was like an episode of Cops, basically.
What?
That's what I mean. I don't know if just like running. Our guy was I don't know if I should go into his name or whatever, but it's a certain sheikh that was causing a ruckus for everybody else, and that was blowing us up and stuff. But these were 155 shells on our MRAP, so it was just you blow up and you're like, oh, we gotta fucking change the goddamn tires,
Yeah.
Shit. Damn it.
Then the IPs that we worked with, our leadership kept telling them, you guys aren't doing your fucking jobs. You guys aren't doing anything. So they would go get fucking, empty mortar rounds, and they tape them together, and then they come to our fob and be like, we found this. And we're like, yeah, you found it because you fucking built it and put it there.
Stupid. It was you guys had all the fun.
Well, I never got to experience Afghanistan. I heard it's rough over there.
Yeah, I didn't see. We were
selected to go, and we were told that we were going, but then we did the MEU.
Yeah, and so it made the MEU really fucking suck, basically, for us, because we, everybody from my hometown was in Afghanistan at the time, so it was really shitty being on the MEU. It was fucking pisses me off still.
Well, and then we were, I think about maybe a week or 2 weeks into our float, and we find out that some of the guys that had crossed deck from 1-4 to 3-1 had been injured and killed. So it made it personal. So we were like, if anything happens, go ahead and feel free to send us in. But with our chain of command, our second deployment, I'm glad that we didn't go to a combat zone.
Probably not. Yeah.
Sometimes it's nice to have a little extra time to train. Yourself together. Yeah, that's for sure. I think that makes a big difference. We got to work up for the initial invasion for a year, maybe longer, a year and a half, and then the second time when I went in 2004, I had just graduated recon school, so the workup that I went through was real short, 2 months. But at that point, I was already a combat vet. I'd already been through stuff like infantry squad leaders course and some other McMap courses and the McQuiz and all that. And you know, I kind of was able to jump into the recon teams without, you know, not really, you know, I kind of was schooled up enough, you know what I mean? So the workup wasn't as hard. And then you're also talking about people who are volunteering to work a little extra hard. So sometimes you get people that they take the job, well, they put more time into it. So that helps to like kind of gel you up. But even still, man, like, we would get guys who just would show up as replacements, or like even in the invasion, we got some guys that came straight out of School of Infantry. I mean, they were fucking wide-eyed and scared, like, what the fuck? Whoops, joined the Marine Corps, straight to war.
Yeah.
Can't complain. I kind of had a blessed career about all that.
Oh shit, yeah. I mean, like we gotta. I count my blessings and shit now. I mean, I guess, you know, because like I see you now, and I mean you're saying it's worth it. And I'm glad you feel that way, but some people don't feel that way. Like, you know, you got. Let's talk about that shit, dude. That's fuck our bullshit.
It depends on what for you makes it worth it. So like, if you're looking for a justification that you get from a politician, or like the state of affairs over there now, or anything like that, you're probably gonna be fucked and think it's not worth it. But I didn't join the Marine Corps for politics, and that's what people don't understand. Marines don't really join the Marine Corps to fucking worry about politics. You join the Marine Corps to be a Marine. So for me, it's like I'm this is the ideology, this is the group that I belong to, this is what we believe in, you know, the ideology, the good, you know, just like in America, like the Constitution and you know, and those things that are at the heart of America. Like if that's where you are, if that's what you're following, then whatever, you know, we're following orders. I'm just doing, you know, at that point, I'm not sure it's our responsibility to be the judge of why we're there. You know, it's our duty, you know, because when you sign up, you should be a man about it or an adult about it, and understand what you're getting into. After the fact, you can't fuck it if you disagree with the politics. You don't have that right, you know.
Nope.
And so I don't think you should worry about. You know, if you disagree with the reasons we went to war, that's fine. You can voice your opinion. This is America, but while we're fucking there, it's game on, man. It's time to work.
Yeah, that's, you know, we didn't make the policy. We were just enforcing it. We were fucking, you know, it's like it's kind of like arguing with a cop about, you know, the how the law is written, right? It's not they don't write the fucking laws. They just go out and make sure you follow them.
Whether you agree, whether they agree with it or not, they have to do it. You know, you might, if they don't agree with it, you might get a little lucky or something and get let go. But if it's like a warrant out for your arrest kind of situation, like, dude, I saw you, bro, I gotta get you, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, like, also, if you live by the sword, die by the sword. If you're fucking out there breaking the law and you get caught, you can't fucking bitch about it. Like, just like if you're in combat and you get shot, like, what the fuck did you think was going to happen? Join the military.
Yeah.
During a war. A lot of people now, during war.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah, like I remember, I think it was my platoon sergeant for the first deployment was like asking people, like we were doing some training hump or something, and like somebody just straight quit, and he goes, "What the fuck did you think that you were doing? Like, you enlisted during a time of war. Did you not think you were going to get deployed?" Like,
yeah,
this
some
is
of the people that came in. Yeah,
we had a dude. We had a kid kill himself. Before the invasion, he was so afraid of going to combat that he went into the port shitter and killed himself. People do weird shit, you know. I mean, under stress or
stress.
Not for everybody, I guess.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's generally too late to find out if you made the right decision because you're already in the shit.
Well, that's part of being a man, you know. Like, I imagine it feels the same if you fuck up and accidentally get somebody pregnant or something. You know, well, you got to man up. Like, you know, you fucked up and joined the Marine Corps. Now it's time to man up. So, stand up.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Story. Hey, you just explained my life. Accidentally got accidentally pregnant while I was in the Marine Corps right before I deployed.
Resonate with Marines across the board. So not me.
Heck, oh man, that's why I got out right there. It's like you know, having a kid. My dad, he was a great provider. He worked all the time, but he wasn't there, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna
Yeah,
do
it's
something
tough for
different.
families in the military. I don't know how they do it, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know several people that have great families and made it through the whole career, 20 years. But
I know, man. That's crazy. Whew.
like it's like I'm glad I can focus all my attention on my wife at this point.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and your kids. You don't have to because after coming back on the second deployment, I was like, it was juggling on re-enlisting or not. But then my kid didn't even know who the fuck I was. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, dang, man, yeah.
Well, it's
So
I have 3 kids now, and I couldn't imagine like saying goodbye for 7 months and being like, "Hey, see you, next year."
Yeah, people do it all the time.
I
Ugh.
know, yeah, those guys. I'll drink to that.
Yeah, I think on the meal we were in Kuwait and we had I think there's 2 or 3 guys that had a kid born, and it was like, man, I couldn't fucking imagine, not being able to support your wife during it, not being able to hold your kid until they're fucking 7
Hey,
months old.
Joey's confession was like, "Oh man, thank God I'm not there." Whenever Cameron was born, I was like, "Oh, dude, thank God." I remember getting back on the grinder. I'm like, "I am not ready to be a dad." I saw all my buddies standing with the baby carriages. Like he knew they were gonna surprise me with the baby. I was like, "Fuck!" I just wanted to go out and get drunk, and then I held him for the first time. Was like, "Oh, this ain't so bad. Okay, all right, this ain't so bad."
We all got I think the process of growing up or maturing is ongoing.
Yeah.
As a kid, I looked at adults like that. Like somehow magically when you're an adult, you got it all fucking figured out.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Dude, I am so sorry. I'm just like, I am very fascinated with medical and how that's going. I mean, you don't have hands yet. You still look physically fit from the angles I'm seeing. So what? So
Oh,
you went through 2 deployments.
yeah, 2 deployments. My second deployment was let's see, we got there early February, I guess, '04. And yeah, man, right around St. Patty's Day, I think it was. And drove from Kuwait straight up to Fallujah and immediately started working. And one of the things they had us doing in Fallujah at the time was we were doing team insertions. So we had an AO at that time on the southwest side of Fallujah, and they each team had so many clicks on grid squares. That was our little spot to do our snooping and pooping in. But what we were doing is ambush opportunity on the guys launching rockets and mortars, and also just observing and documenting every fucking detail, everything. Even like what color was that car, and had a rusted out front left fucking fender. Just minute details. Like sometimes the job is not all glamorous.
Yeah.
And that was really cool because that was kind of like a traditional reconnaissance mission, and that was fun. We snatched up a dude, killed a dude, snatched a dude that were putting in IED on the side of the road one night. Some of the, this is before I got smoked, but we would, think about Fallujah is you can't really move around Fallujah without everybody and their mama seeing everything you do. So that was difficult. So a lot of the times you just kind of had to assume you were compromised, and you always had to be ready with a QRF, or quick reaction force, or be able to defend yourself for a bit. Because it would be 6 of us, and so you want to be able to maybe last 20 or 30 minutes till your boys could come in if you didn't have air. And that was, so we would do stuff like that. And then
So these are like it was because we had a Lieutenant Lambert who's recon. He taught us a mess of overwatch positions and setting up and observing and things he did, just kind of like what you're describing. But in the desert terrain, you don't got like the mountains and to hide in, so you guys still had to conduct reconnaissance in such a way.
What we would do is, like, you could look at the satellite imagery and pick some shit out, do your patrol route back at the base, which of course we would do, but you always had to assume that it was going to be fucked when you got there, which it was. Like, this grove looked like you could hide an elephant in here, but nope. We got to find something else quick. Sometimes we had to get extracted, like when the sun came up, because there was just nowhere to go. But we managed to find some hiding spots, here and there, and it worked out pretty well. A lot of times we would sit in an overwatch position on the high ground to the west of Fallujah and dig in, and then at nighttime when generators and stuff were turned off is when we could move around and do things without being compromised. So we're kind of cowboys too. Like, fucking let us be compromised, bring it.
Yeah.
Bring it on. So
Shit, yeah. Right? Oh, this was your second deployment, so you're around 24, 25.
27.
27.
Because I was a little older when I joined. And so anyway, on April 7, 04, it was when we first surrounded Fallujah, and they were going to take Fallujah down. And remember, they ended up sending in the Iraqi military guys, and they were like, high five, what's up, whatever, but nothing happened, you know what I mean? And so then we went back in November after we let them build up. But so we had cordoned off the city, and then we were on a movement from one part of Fallujah, from Camp Fallujah, basically to the Rock AST. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Iraq, or that part of Iraq. There's a giant Iraqi ammo supply storage facility that was Saddam's. Huge. And we were going to run patrols out of there or ops out of there. It was a little easier to get around Fallujah without being people watching us. And that road that we were on, Boston, it's like heading west over from Camp Fallujah. You go over the Euphrates, over the dam bridge, and the bridge, bridge, and then you can move over and then go west. So it's a way to get through Fallujah without going through the main part of the city. And unfortunately, there's not very many routes around there, so you got to take the same route a lot of times. So we were in a vehicle movement, and we got ambushed on that movement. I was in the point vehicle. So it's our company-sized movement. We had an attachment of some admin dudes at the 5-ton or something. And our platoon it's like, maybe 23, but that's with attachments and stuff, And anyways, our SOPs were to set up a base of fire and maneuver a flanking element and take somebody out with that kind of ambush that they had set up on us. And we knew we were going to get ambushed. Like somebody took some shots at us when we were crossing that bridge earlier, and so we stopped and we did a little security patrol there, but we had to get going, so we were on the way. And you just got this eerie feeling because normally there's people all over, but there was nobody, and then cars come down the road when they saw us, like, spit out my hip,
it kind of feels like you're trying to be. It's just like you guys are like trying to be sneaky. It's just like everybody's watching. They're like.
I mean, we weren't trying to be sneaky. We were on a movement. Like it was.
I just recon. I always for some reason I always think recon.
Oh yeah, you'd be surprised how unsneaky you could be sometimes. It takes a lot of work to be sneaky.
And then one dog fucking blows it for you.
Or a fucking goose or a donkey.
I hate geese, man. I fucking hate geese.
So, man, I knew it was going down, so I had the parasol, and I had on that swing arm mount. I was in the back right seat of the Humvee. It wasn't an up armored Humvee. We didn't really have them then. They were just starting to come in. And
Cowboys.
I stuck my ammo box back on my gun because I wanted to be able to dismount. I didn't want my ammo to be stuck on the swing arm. And spit my dip out, and it was game on. They engaged us with heavy machine guns and all this shit, and they had rockets and RPGs and mortars. They had some IEDs that didn't go off. One of the guys in my platoon, Leo, he fucking, I don't know how he found it, but he disarmed it real quick, like the triggering mechanism or one of the wires leading to the main charges. So that was lucky. And we just got pinned down in that point vehicle, and I was waiting for a lull in the enemy fire so I could get the hell out of the vehicle and get up against this berm on the side of the road. And I was suppressing out to like our 1 o'clock, and I was coming up to 12. And I had to kind of, because I had put the heads down to the enemy that were on the other side of that berm. And it wasn't no 5.8 round.
So you're in a bullshit Humvee with no arm, the fucking bullshit.
Melt that motherfucking barrel.
What the fuck?
Like, yeah, and some of the guys were straight up convertible Humvees, like up on a fucking 240 pin convertible. Like, what?
No.
Yeah.
The fuck?
That was 04, early 04, I guess. So IEDs were just picking up. They were just figuring them out. Whoever was coming over from Iran was just teaching them how to plus them up and make those EFPs. So I fucking, they were shooting RPGs, and I kept hearing these explosions, and I was like, fuck, man, they must be drilling the vehicle behind us. But, it was like, there was so much. It was just like when they teach you the only way to fucking get out of a close ambush is to assault through. It was like that. But if we didn't fucking keep returning fire, there was no like ducking behind the door. It was like, because that would have, we would be dead, But it worked. Yeah. But they fucking got me with a fucking RPG. Hit my fucking machine gun, my little parasaw, blew this hand off here. Blew this hand off at the wrist, and then I looked down. Well, first of all, I thought I was fucking dead because what I thought was I was getting shot in the face because the bullets were fucking snapping by, and I thought my radio operator was dead because I'm like, if it didn't fucking hit me, it surely had to hit him in the fucking face. But I couldn't hear anything from him. I'm focused on our fucking starboard side, at 3 o'clock. And
so it hit your saw just straight on?
Yeah, I should have fucking, I got it in the closet, but I don't want to root through my boxes and get it. But the tail end of the RPG itself, the stabilizer, with one of the fucking fins that pops out, I have it because it was in the back of the clamshell Humvee behind me, getting like randomly, like when they're cleaning it out after they towed it back to Camp Fallujah. And my
did you have the bullshit vests? The bullshit, the soft Kevlar? Did you guys have?
We had savvy plates, and we had front and back, because I look at what everybody has now. I'm like, damn, everybody's got such sweet gear,
Yeah, the MTBs were some heavy ass back.
Oh yeah, the ones that we had.
They were badass.
Yeah,
heavy, but they were badass.
Well, we were used to carrying weight, so I didn't give a shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if we were going off foot, I could always hump forever. So I was like, fuck it, But anyway, I realized I wasn't dying, and I realized I didn't get shot in the head because I wouldn't be able to actually kind of comprehend it logically and think about it. Like, hey, you're not shot in the head because you're not mentally retarded or brain. You're like, come on now.
Yeah.
And it's like I could feel because when I first got hit, I yelled out that I was hit, like at the top of my lungs, and then I shut up because I felt stupid, like it was too cliche. I was like, I'm hit.
You're worried about how it looked.
Yeah.
You don't even have an arm. Did you know you didn't have an arm at this point?
Well, yeah, no, not yet. But rule number one in the recon community, you gotta always look cool.
Dude.
All I could imagine is you screaming, "I'm hit," and then somebody like 20 meters down goes, "Good for you." And it's
we couldn't. Nobody heard me because we were all deaf, man.
Oh yeah.
The RPG that hit you in the gut.
Yeah. So it peppered everybody in the vehicle. Everybody got a lot of shrapnel, but it blew my team leader's gun out of his rifle out of his right hand, and he had a big hole in his tricep, and his elbow was shattered. And he was putting a tourniquet on, and I realized I wasn't dying, so I'm like, okay, hold on, because it was making me freak out too. And I'm like, all right, stop, bro, you're going to shock, like relax. And as soon as I thought that, it was like the lights came on. I'm like, oh fuck. I'm looking down here. I'll send you some pictures. I don't know if you can edit them in and gross everybody out, but I got some pictures from the surgeon at PQ.
Yes.
The right hand was hurting, so I pulled up my right hand, and I'm like, oh motherfucker. And it was like my skin from my hand was there, but it was dangling down like a shredded, like a glove that was shredded in a garbage disposal. Like the bones and the meat was gone. I was like, no, man. And I was like, motherfucker, both of them. And I looked down at my leg, and my femur was sticking out, and the top of my quadriceps was blown off. And that was the one that was going to kill me, man, because it was like every heartbeat dumping out blood. And so I was like, oh, uh-oh. And
the femur, the big bone in your body, snapped through your leg right now.
So my
And are you in any pain?
Yes and no, like when things hurt so bad they don't hurt.
Yeah.
People say, oh yeah, because you were in shock, but I don't think I was in shock. I think offense to that.
Was it just overload, just system overload? Like you're
I just was. I've been through some shit, and like the training you go through, it fucking sucks, man. You're in pain all the time, so you kind of learn to disengage from the physical pain in your body. You know what I mean? And in a life and death situation, it's easier because it was literally like black and white. It hurts, but you can't do nothing about it. Fucking forget about it. And I was able to just sort of turn it off, because there's other things. You got to stop the bleeding. That's the only singular focus you have. Because I had all the training, the trauma courses that we went through and shit.
But nobody ever taught you how to put a tourniquet on with no hands, right?
Yeah. With self-kit bloody aid, right? So I'm like, hey, the blowout kit, Maison, grab a tourniquet, get it on my leg first. Like I'm like telling him, because in a way for me, it's a way for me to keep calm, and also to calm him down. He was a little bit rattled. It was his first ever firefight, so all of a sudden he's peppered with shrapnel, and he's looking at Corporal Wright like, oh shit, oh fuck, Corporal. I'm like, get the tourniquet. I'm gonna be good. Just get the tourniquet. Like, come on, man. We got no time to be.
You're doing fine, sweetie.
but Corporal Wright, you ain't got no hands.
He did great. Couldn't get everything was all fucked in the back. So I'm like, just get my right here in my shoulder pocket, So got both my tourniquets out of there. Got it on my leg. The team leader reached around like to check on it with his good arm, like so, and he pulls on it, and boop, it popped off. I was like, oh come on, man. And by now, like our hearing is coming back, so I'm like, they did not. It seemed like they'd stopped firing at us after the RPG hit us. No, we just couldn't hear it for a little bit. All of a sudden, it was back on. Like, oh, for fuck's sake, man!
God.
So there was a bunch of bullshit. We had to beat him out of that kill zone. We had to reorganize our vehicle. Gunner was laid out. He was like out. He lived. Team leader had to shoot with his left arm. We had to switch. I mean, he switched over to the driver's side because he only had the one arm, and we limped that piece. We did an Austin Powers turn on this too, because we bombed out of that kill zone. Well, limped out like oh my god, we'd be like, where are we gonna fucking go? Now we're separated from our fucking platoon, and maybe we could have just floored it and got to the Rock ASP or something, but they had blocked off the road far ahead up by the bridge, the railroad trestle. So we're like, and we did we got with our signal plan and all that shit, popped the rest guard, and then commenced the Austin Powers turn, man. It was like, damn, dude. I'm like, oh my God, they're still shooting at us. You could see them darting behind the houses, trying to run up the couple blocks that we made it, trying to come up around to get a good shot. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, we get smoked. I was like, I don't think I can take another bullet or nothing. I think I'm good. I got my targets. I can survive this. But if I get fucking shot again, I don't know if I can hang with that. And anyways, we got turned around and we got back and got with our peeps and Corman, our SARCs hooked me up, hooked up the guys that needed to be helped out. And we had another guy, another Marine, Captain Brent Morrell, my platoon commander, who, while we were getting fucked up, took his vehicle, the Marines out of his vehicle, and charged over the berms into the enemy to divert all that fucking fire off us. And so that's what kept us from really getting fucked after that RPG hit us. They took a lot. They took a lot of that fire off. Plus, our flanking element had started smoking a shitload of them by then. And they were like, "Oh fuck! Oh, who the fuck was supposed to be looking on the left?" Like nobody. Fucking. So, anyway, Captain Morrell got killed, and he was awarded the Navy Cross posthumously. One of the first in the war, maybe the second or third. Yeah, it was early on that the Marine Corps had given out. So then,
and this is the obviously this is the same conflict that got you the Bronze Star, correct?
Yeah, this is the ambush that they gave you the Bronze Star for.
Because what you haven't talked about is that you're directing fires, right? You're
well, I mean, yeah, it feels weird to talk about it, but because really you're just doing your job and trying to. I'm like, because that's generals love it when you say like, I couldn't pull the trigger, but what I could do is basically what the backbone of the Marine Corps, the corporal, is supposed to do. I could issue orders and supervise. Sounds cheesy. Sounds like some sort of political fancy talk, but it fucking works. And I was kind of, I had to say like, oh, fucking, what the fuck am I gonna do now? And I was like, well, I know what to do, and I can keep making sure my Marines are doing what they're supposed to do, so we can all get out of here. But there was self-preservation in there too, of course.
Oh yeah,
obviously, yeah.
Because it's not like you could be like, oh, they got me, and then you just lay down and.
Oh, you don't assume anything. You know what I mean? That's why they say shit. One is none. Two is one is none. Things like that. You make an ass out of you and me when you assume, like, doesn't work good in the married life when you're backseat driving your wife and they take it personally. You're like, it's a fucking bad habit. You don't want to assume anybody knows anything, So it's a good
habit. Just say it's a good maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously you get fucking did they ground evac you, or did they bring the helo in?
No, they brought we ended up getting 146 and one Cobra. And the cool thing is I got to meet the crew chief of that 46 years later. Tyler Neumeister is his name. And so he filled in a lot of little things for me regarding, because I heard, so they got me into one of the convertible, my first sergeant, he retired, Sergeant Major Santiago. They got me in the back of his Hummer, which he had one of those straight convertible ones. And so I'm there, and they fixed up my tourniquets. They got an IV in my shoulder. I got a little bit of fluids, and now I'm just waiting for the medevac. The fucking firefight's still going on. It went on for like an hour and a half or something. And finally, I could hear the Cobras coming in. I was like, yeah. you know, but it was just one Cobra. But that guy went to town cleaning up. And then the 46 landed, and they, you know, they loaded me up and 6 other Marines, and flew us out to TQ. So the flight was pretty short, you know. I remember it, you know. I remember him loading my platoon commander on, you know. He was white as a sheet, and I was like, oh fuck, you know. And some of the guys were, the rest guys were kind of walking ambulatory, you know what I mean? So they piled on. And then when they pulled me off and they brought me into the triage tent, that was a trip, you know.
In TQ, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fucking full of dudes and different. Some guys were like kind of sitting there, you know, whatever, flesh wounds or whatever, but they had to sit there in the same room with dudes like me missing limbs and other guys that they were working on who were fucked up, like trying to get them into surgery. This is like the movies kind of where you just see guys just sort of like 1,000 yards staring. It was super somber in there, and I remember cracking a joke to the nurse. Yeah. So the nurse comes up. I'm like, hey, I get the nurse's attention because it was so serious in there, and I was like kind of happy at this point because I was like, I'm gonna be good because I'm at the fucking field surgical unit. Like they can do anything here, you know. Like I understand the different stages if you can get, you know. And that was 45 minutes after I was wounded, so I was like cut it close.
Yeah, because that's what 10 like a 10-minute fucking helo ride from Fallujah proper to TQ.
It just took a while for them to be able to give up half of an asset. We only got 146 and 1 Cobra, you know, and because they were busy that day. And so I told this nurse, she comes over and leans in, and I'm like, how many Irishmen does it take to change a light bulb? She was like, what? I was like, hey, feckets will drink in the dark. Only you know what I mean? And then the doctor came, he rolled me on my side, and he stuck his fucking fingers in my asshole. Like, I guess it checked for rectal bleeding.
That's what they say.
I go, hey. I was like, hey, doc, how about a reach around? And they were fine, man. And then I was like in hella pain by then because I was too relaxed. Finally, it was like, ow. Like, oh, fuck, man, this hurts.
All that adrenaline's gone.
I asked them to give me something for pain, and I don't know if they gave me something or I just fucking passed out. And I woke up in D.C. at Bethesda 9 days later. Yeah, so.
So you don't remember any of that journey home?
I have some foggy, dreamlike memories of being on the air medevac, one of the overseas legs, maybe either to Germany, probably to Germany, because my team leader is with me, and I don't know if he flew from Germany to the U.S. with me, but anyway, of him talking to me. I was kind of on my side, you know, and then I have a memory of maybe the day before they woke me up for good at Bethesda. They brought me up, and I had forgotten that I didn't have hands, and I was intubated, and I remember trying to pull whatever the fuck was in my mouth out, and then they put me back under for a day or two, and then they woke me up, and I was dying of thirst. Never been so thirsty in my life.
I bet. Yeah. So
you're so happy to be alive. I was so happy. I was in ICU, like, what up? Everybody walked by. What's up?
We had
definitely a glass half full guy. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, I try to be, man.
We had Ryan Hendrickson on here. I'm not sure if you know his story. He's a Green Beret, got his leg blown off in Afghanistan.
Yeah, I haven't heard his story.
Reattached, and then he's still operating.
Nice.
And
motherfucker.
You know, you have to have that attitude of fucking, you know, it already happened, and there's nothing I can do to go back in time and make it not happen.
Mm-hmm.
So you can be there, you can lay there and feel sorry about yourself, or you could just crack jokes and, you know, this is your life, you know.
It's probably why I'm still alive, man. I was able to stay calm. Like I understood the science, of like your heart rate and trauma and blood loss, and I'm like trying to meditate myself down and mellow out.
Keep
But
the heart rate low.
be positive. But I have hard days. You know what I mean? Most people don't see me when I have a hard day, because I try to have a quick turnaround. But like, who gets to see it? The ones closest to you, like your wife or whatever. And I sometimes I find myself bitching and complaining. I'm like, come on, motherfucker, that's not you. It never makes you feel better. And so what I've learned,
It's a black hole, if you will, if you.
yeah. The trick is to recognize when you're there and just take the easy active steps, man. Like you got to please call your mindset constantly. And I think that's something that is important. They don't teach it enough. They teach us physical fitness and technical proficiency, but we don't do enough mental fitness in the military. And then we most certainly don't do big and not long enough, like separations process or debrief. Like,
Oh yeah,
like they're like, see you later.
Yeah.
You're gonna get
in the eye and shake their hand.
Yeah.
Or you'll get because you're a veteran.
Oh shit, dude.
I remember TAPS was one of the biggest jokes that I've ever went through. It was like
stupid.
Look up on YouTube if you ever want to know what Joe was doing when he got out of the Marine Corps. Look up shit Marines say in college on YouTube, and this is exactly it's like like what you're like, oh no. When you got all your buddies you and shit calling you. Yeah, man, it's bullshit.
Yeah. In an institutionalized environment.
Yeah, no
shit. I don't really mind it, because that simplifies things. Oh, these are the rules. Got it.
Got it. Now
but it's better. Yeah, like it doesn't translate to the civilian world all the time.
No. Yeah. No, that's how people I found out in the civilian world. So most of the jobs that I've gone afterward, everybody is literally just fucking bitching like constantly. And it's like, I guess that's how they cope, man. But it's like, to me, when they do that, it's like cancer, basically. I'm like,
oh yeah.
My head gets dark. I'm like, you guys say stuff that like I would do these things, you freaking idiots.
Yeah.
I got in trouble at the VA for dark humor, and like they were like, we have reports that you were making. Yeah, you were making a rape joke, and I was like, yeah. And they're like, do you understand why that makes people uncomfortable? I was like, were they raped? And they were going, well, we can't tell you. And I was like, well, I thought it was funny, so I'm sorry about that, but I'll try.
Yeah, I can see it because it took me a long time to learn to try to filter. There's a Marine humor, and then there's a Marine grunt humor. There's like a field humor that's just the most irreverent, like offensive horse shit. But we're just cracking up and having fun. We really don't mean any harm. But like people in the civilian world, man, they're flabbergasted. Like, oh my God, what did you say? And you're like, So no rape jokes at the VA.
Yeah, and I guess I do kind of get some of it, but we're civilians, we're still a little on the sensitive side, guys. Yeah, that's my opinion. So it might be the unpopular opinion, but
I think people overall are too much on the sensitive side. I'm wondering where the thick skin went.
Oh, I've played into it being out for so long. Yeah.
I just I've been so one thing that's helped me is I listen to Audible books, and I listen to books on stoicism and stuff like that. And for me, and probably for Marines, like it just breaks things down Barney style when you're tripping or you get upset or whatever. You don't have to react. and be sensitive with an emotion, because you're the one that gets to decide what meaning you put to any type of neutral event. And try to remind myself that, so I don't let people get under my skin. The guy on the ferry yelled at me the other day because I went when I wasn't supposed to go, and for like 30 minutes I was like, man, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I want to go back there, I want to knock him out, I want to grab him, choke him out.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait a minute, what the fuck are you doing, Eddie? And then I had to all right, what's happening, think logically, and I snapped myself out of it. But fuck, man, you just
Man, thank you for sharing.
we're geared to trigger into action. You know what I mean?
I know exactly. It's just such a common thing. It's just like it's. I don't know. Yeah, they're just obsessing over. I just want to fucking go talk to that guy. What's the worst? I'm not afraid to get my ass kicked or what? Come on, like
Yeah.
What's it? Doesn't matter how many times. My standpoint anymore is like, oh, never mind that. But no matter how many punches they land, I'm still right.
So
getting older anyway. I can't kick as much ass as I used to.
I know that you have another meeting coming up pretty soon, so we'll get you out of here. But before we go, we have a kind of a series of questions that we'd like to ask everybody to, just it's just bullshit questions. But what is your favorite weapon system?
Oh, I like my little parasol.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of guys don't like the saw because it's temperamental. It can be, but
Never had a problem with my girl.
Never.
Never
if
had
you treat her right.
You know how to treat them right.
Clean it. She's high maintenance.
All the time.
Ignore some of that shit that flies off of it. It wasn't important anyway. Some of the parts.
No. So I really enjoyed that because working in a small team, it was usually the only bell-fed weapon that we carried. Sometimes we carry the Barrett or other bullshit, but it's great little weapon, man. You can lay down a lot of lead with that thing. I never tried patrolling with the 240. That'd be fucking rad.
Yeah, I've seen some guys that said that it would be fun until about halfway through the patrol, and they're like, "Man, I wish I didn't bring this fucking 240."
I'm too small, bro. I remember getting behind it on a berm or something. My arms ain't long enough, and I'm just like a kid, just I'm behind the fire. It wasn't fun for me.
I'm 6'3" and I was 220.
Well, like 5'8",
just
5'8", It's
so usually the littlest motherfucker here. You take the machine gun.
I like the 50 cal and like the 249 was. I love that. That is.
Yeah.
Don't understand why anybody ever hated that gun. It's you clean it. I've spit on the, but you could spit if it gets jammed. Just spit on that shit and fucking rack it.
Mine was good to me.
Yeah.
What is your favorite piece of issued gear that you had?
My MRE spoon.
No, that can be the answer to the next question, which is your non-issued gear.
That's probably, but my favorite piece of gear. I'm gonna have to say it's my SAPI plate or my helmet because they literally saved my life. The non-issue favorite piece of gear is seriously my old school lensatic compass that I bought myself because I didn't want it to be off at all.
Yeah, you didn't want it to be wrong.
Like fucking this thing's been kicked around for 20 years. I'm gonna get my own. Because sometimes they're off. The last compass that I had issued to me pointed north, and it changed depending on which direction you were standing.
Was it the Captain Jack Sparrow compass that points to what you want?
It pointed at something, but it didn't point at north.
What kind of compass was that?
Oh, that's terrible.
I think I had your saw, actually. Speaking of the devil. Like that's how old our stuff was.
Mm-hmm.
What is your least favorite piece of gear that you had to fucking take care of so you didn't have to spend 10 times what it was worth to pay it back?
Oh,
I'll give you an example. Mine is the you remember those the fucking Molly adapters and shit that they'd give you like 50 of them when you went to SIF.
Oh
You
yeah,
never ever used
gas
them.
mask.
I never took those because at Recon we were using the old Alice packs.
Okay.
Mountain rucks, and then or mountain ruck that's a non-issue brand, but the same type of style. But what kind of bullshit did I hate? I didn't like the mop gear was fucking the mop boots.
Yeah.
You had to wear the fucking boots for like a day or 2 days when the invasion kicked off. That was annoying. But the rest of it we wore the whole time. That wasn't as bad, but because you're just wearing your fucking silkies underneath.
Yeah.
Gibby shirt. But shit, that doesn't really feel like it would count as a non-issue piece of gear. I don't know.
No, your least favorite issued, like something that the Marine Corps is like, this will save your life, and
yeah,
gas mask. Yeah, I mean,
yeah, fuck that. Yeah.
I always just took it off to see how tough I was to inhale the whatever was they were doing in the gas room. Anyway, if you wore a gas mask, you were a bitch.
I like that little gas trainer.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
All those people puking, man.
Yeah, see, dude, if you had I went in when it was like February, and it was like spring in Pendleton, and that shit made my nose just go boom. I never felt that.
I've never breathed more clear than about the first 30 minutes after a gas chamber.
Good old gas.
Yeah.
Get everything out from I swear to God, there was a toy that I swallowed as a kid. Fucking
whatever that white chalk, whatever that shit was, they would burn up.
The tear gas, the CS gas.
How did they would just, that was like a little chunk, a solid chunk they would throw on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They in a tear gas grenade, it's like 1,000 times potency compared to what they do in the gas chamber.
Yeah, we got gassed with the grenades. That shit was terrible.
Yeah, the grenades it's not the same. It's not the same thing. It's not but I mean, I wouldn't mind trying it again though, for sure.
Yeah.
Except, not gonna lie.
Oh, you got a new taser? Try it out on me.
Yeah.
I go to a riot just to go to one of those Antifa riots just to, is this guy huffing gas? Just flexing?
Yeah. What is your favorite MRE?
Four Fingers of Death with jalapeno cheese, rat fucked out of another MRE, and the beans all mixed together. I don't even think they make that.
I know.
No.
Or the spaghetti. The spaghetti was good.
Yeah. What is your favorite flavor of crayon?
Oh, my favorite flavor. That's a tough one. This is tough.
Okay.
OD green.
Dude, that's the great flavor. I'm all about the OD green. Everybody loves that shit. Everybody loves all about that. Damn right.
And then I guess to end it, we could go, what advice would you give somebody that is like, say tomorrow is the day that they go to recruit training, and then what advice would you give somebody that tomorrow they're EASing, as far as yeah.
Let's see. Somebody who's going to recruit training tomorrow, I would tell that kid, I would tell him to forget about the things that don't relate to the work that you're about to be doing. So everything should be on the back burner to the Marine Corps, meaning your relationships with like a girlfriend. Don't worry about girlfriend. Don't worry about playing video games in your free time. Like, have fun, but you gotta, but take this job very seriously, because you don't want to look back. You don't want to be in combat thinking, oh, fucking wish I would have paid attention and actually learned how to use this piece of gear, or learn these tactics, or spent more time with my junior Marines, teaching them how to, working more SOPs, doing more IA drills, You know what I mean? I mean, those are the things that keep you alive. I remember being so bored with our immediate action rehearsals at Recon. I mean, we did so much in all these different scenarios, but I understood the importance of it, and so you have to not half-ass it during these trainings because you would build half-ass habits, and it works. And I can tell you that. So pay attention to your training. Rehearse, because when the shit hits the fan, you will do what your training is, and that's how I survived. Like, I knew my training, and that's what we did. We just stuck with our training. We fucking rehearsed for that scenario, you know.
Put the motherfucking phone down.
So let's see. Yeah. So the guys getting out, I would say, don't drink.
Pick the phone up.
Too much.
Pick the phone up.
Don't let drinking or kicking it get in the way of achieving some goal that moves you forward. I see a lot of guys, you know, and and a lot of guys get out and they think, I'm going to go to college and then I'm going to have this fucking great career. Well, fine. But if you don't like college and you end up dropping out like a lot of guys, you know, don't do the normal thing of the 5 or 10 year booze festival until you pull your head out of your ass, you know. Try to always keep moving forward, and don't ever drop your ruck all the way. Also, just because you're a veteran doesn't mean you're entitled to like people to just give you all kinds of shit or the best job out there. Stay competitive, you know, make them want you, you know, and because what we have already as Marines is exactly what businesses are looking for, but they may not know it. You know what I mean? They could say, what do you have to offer because you were an infantry Marine? Well, I got some intangibles that nobody in any college would be able to bring to the table. You know what I mean? My leadership skills, my attention to detail, my ability to work independently and to be trusted to do what I say I'm going to do. Shit like that. You know, those are our biggest assets. So, you know, I don't know. That's a tough one. You know?
Good.
I think if
I could have taken that advice to heart, like right when I got out, then that'd have been like.
Oh yeah, man. We're all bulletproof. We got all the answers. We don't listen to nobody.
Yeah. That's you're starting fucking all over again, motherfuckers, when you're getting out. So just,
and you're
not
starting
exactly, but you gotta. Nobody owes you shit, and that's if you think people owe you shit, you're not gonna get whatever the shit is out of the people, and then you're gonna be sad. And it's a fucking don't go down that hole.
Well, I want to thank you, Eddie, for coming on and, you know, shooting the shit and talking and sharing your story. And you're welcome anytime to come back.
We still got to talk about your medical and life and adaptations to your hand.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for having me,
dude. Yeah,
appreciate it. And you know, when I get off my ass and I get my podcast going, I'd love to have y'all on mine.
Dude. Absolutely, yeah. Just let us know. And I'll shoot you a text or with the link or whatever with when this comes out.
Pictures.
Probably, yeah. If you could send those pictures, we'll edit them in, and
I'll send you a few pics, man.
This will be our first edited episode since we've been effing with the gear anyway. So this whole part we're talking about, we're gonna edit it out. So right.
I've been watching all kinds of YouTube videos. So yeah.
Dude. Well, you got to think it's a good time to jump on something because TV. Like I worked in the TV edit this out, but I worked in the TV industry for a while, and all those people are doing is buying titles to shit that's already been done. Like look at any movie they're replaying on your local TV, whatever. They're just buying the rights to it, and then playing it on their networks, and then this people will buy the rights to this show that's already been played before, or they're recreating the Golden Girls, except for like instead of something new.
You better not touch the fucking Golden Girls, I swear.
I think now more than ever, people YouTube and podcasts and just, you know, you obviously have.
I hear podcasting's blowing up and Hollywood's struggling, and fuck it, man. Let's blow up.
Let's blow up and fucking snuff them bitches out. They have crazy rules and they're stupid shit.
Cancel me.
Yep.
We're gonna put patents on ideas and whatever. Anyway.
get rolling so I have enough time to make a head call before my other meeting.
Take care, stay safe, simplify, and
brother.
talk to you soon.
Yeah. All right, brothers.
All
Good talking to you guys, man.
All right, later. President of the United States takes pleasure in presenting the Bronze Star Medal to Corporal James E. Wright, United States Marine Corps, for service as set forth in the following. For heroic achievement in connection with combat operations against the enemy as assistant team leader with Company B, 1st Reconnaissance Battalion, 1st Marine Division, 1 Marine Expeditionary Force in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom 2 on 7 April 2004. In the Al Anbar province of Iraq, Corporal Wright's patrol came under heavy machine gun, small arms, mortars, and rocket-propelled grenade fire. He immediately engaged the enemy with his squad automatic weapon, continuing to fire until his vehicle was struck by a rocket-propelled grenade. Despite losing both hands and sustaining severe injuries to his leg, Corporal Wright was the epitome of composure. Understanding the severity of his own injuries, he calmly instructed others on how to remove the radio, call for support, and render first aid. He also pointed out enemy machine gun emplacements to his fellow Marines, assisting in the demise of 26 enemies killed in action. By his zealous initiative, courageous actions, and exceptional dedication to duty, Corporal Wright reflected great credit upon himself and upheld the highest traditions of the Marine Corps and the United States Naval Service. The combat distinguishing device is authorized. For the President, James T. Conway, Lieutenant General, U.S. Marine Corps, Commanding General, 1 Marine Expeditionary Force.